Keir Starmer's leadership of the Labour Party is rapidly unravelling. As Britain faces unprecedented challenges, rising economic strife, a dangerous geopolitical situation in Ukraine, and domestic crises that demand decisive action, Starmer's conspicuous absence from public view raises critical questions about his fitness for office. A leader must be present, engaged, and capable, yet Starmer has consistently evaded scrutiny and failed to meet the demands of his position. His behaviour over the past months is not just disappointing, it's deeply alarming. It is no secret that political leaders are under immense pressure, but they are expected to perform under those conditions. Starmer's recent vanishing act, cancelling planned appearances, avoiding unscripted engagements, and even withdrawing from key moments of parliamentary debate, suggests a leader who is incapable of rising to the occasion. What's more troubling is the pattern of evasion. His excuses are flimsy, often pointing to scheduling conflicts that don't hold up under scrutiny. The most recent cancellation, where he abruptly withdrew from a meeting with local farmers in Buckinghamshire, despite the event being meticulously planned, screams of something far more troubling than just poor planning. It suggests a man desperate to avoid situations that demand anything less than scripted perfection. In an era where transparency and accountability are non-negotiable, Starmer's repeated attempts to avoid the public eye should raise a red flag. The truth is, Britain doesn't need a leader who hides from difficult situations. It needs someone who can engage with the people, who can handle conflict, who can speak truth to power. Previous prime ministers, whether beloved or loathed, have never shied away from tough crowds. Margaret Thatcher faced down hostile arenas. Boris Johnson confronted angry fishermen. Even David Cameron stood firm in front of furious flood victims. They didn't run from the people, even when it was uncomfortable. Starmer, on the other hand, crumbles under the slightest pressure. His disappearance from public view is not a coincidence. It's a pattern of avoidance that highlights his inability to lead when the country needs it most. Starmer's recent performance in Parliament, particularly during Prime Minister's questions, was nothing short of a disaster. His speech was disjointed, and the footage was uncomfortable to watch. A man of his position should be able to deliver a coherent response to questions, especially in a forum as important as PMQs. Instead, Starmer froze mid-sentence, stammering repeatedly, unable to muster even the most basic of rebuttals. It wasn't just a bad day at the office, it was an unprecedented breakdown. The most disturbing aspect, however, was the reaction of his own party. Labour MPs exchanged worried glances as their leader floundered in front of the nation. When the people who are supposed to support you are embarrassed for you, it's clear something is wrong. The fact that the official Parliament record has been edited to remove Starmer's stumbles is not just troubling, it's a serious breach of trust. If Starmer's team is willing to rewrite history to cover up his inadequacies, what else are they hiding? The willingness to manipulate the truth to maintain a facade of competence should set off alarm bells. This is not about protecting a leader, this is about protecting a narrative. And that narrative is becoming increasingly difficult to maintain. Behind closed doors, the situation seems even more dire. Reports have surfaced that medical professionals, including speech therapists and neurological experts, have been seen entering Downing Street. What does this mean for Starmer's health? His team's efforts to conceal his condition and manage public perception only fuel suspicions. It's not just about avoiding unscripted events anymore. It's about keeping the public and even his own party in the dark about his true condition. If his health is indeed deteriorating, the public deserves to know the truth. The fact that Starmer's team is spinning this as mere exhaustion or stress is an insult to the British people's intelligence. This is far more than that, and the longer it goes unaddressed, the more damaging it will be for both his leadership and his party. The secrecy surrounding Starmer's condition, the increasingly erratic behavior, and the lack of transparency all point to one inescapable conclusion: Starmer is unfit to lead. His leadership is crumbling, not just in public performance but in the very core of his ability to handle the pressures of office. Labour MPs are reportedly whispering about his fitness for office, with some suggesting he's no longer the person they elected. If those closest to him are concerned, then how much longer can the public be expected to turn a blind eye? Britain is facing a critical moment in its history. The country cannot afford a leader who is so visibly unwell, so clearly unable to handle the demands of leadership. The stakes are too high. The challenge is too great. The time for evasions and half-truths is over. If Starmer's health is indeed deteriorating, he owes it to the British people to step aside and allow someone else to take the reins. His refusal to do so only undermines his party and his country. A leader who cannot stand up under pressure, who is unwilling to face the people and the challenges before him, has no place in the most powerful office in the land. The truth is simple. Keir Starmer must either face up to his responsibilities or step aside. The British people deserve better than a leader who crumbles under pressure and hides from the truth. It's time for Starmer to stop pretending he's fit for office and start being honest about what is really going on behind the scenes. The longer he delays, the more the cracks in his leadership will deepen, and the more damage he will do, not just to himself, but to his party and to the nation.